One aspect that unites most of Cartoon Network's current programming is references to Sonic the Hedgehog, and that respect for this gaming icon has now come full circle. Being that OKKO Let's Be Heroes is partially a love letter to the Blue Blur, and its experience with delivering on Dream crossovers, bringing these two franchises together almost seemed inevitable. I was on board from the moment the first teaser premiered at San Diego Comic-Con, where we saw that this episode would be jam-packed with obvious and obscure references to Sonic's history. So without further ado, here are all of the references I could find in OKKO's Let's Meet Sonic special. Let's do it to it! When KO talks to Rad and Enid in the episode's opening scene, he breaks into a few poses that reference the key art for the games Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Adventure, two pieces of artwork that Sonic is most commonly associated with. During Rad's reply, KO impatiently stomps his feet in a manner similar to Sonic's idle animation from his debut game on the Sega Genesis. KO remarks that,
"You never know when a legendary hero might 3D blast through our doors!"
This refers to the title of Sonic 3D Blast. Before Sonic arrives, we see a pair of side characters. Nanini taunts Genesis in a manner similar to how Sonic slaps his bum in the US intro to Sonic X, while holding a comic book with a cover similar to the second issue of Sonic Quest, a late 90s miniseries that loosely adapted the Death Egg saga from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The title on the cover is more in line with the modern Sonic logo than the one from the original comic. It really is too bad that we didn't see more Archie Sonic comics in this episode. Sonic bursts into the bodega, and the tagline that accompanies his name is ripped from the theme song to the Saturday morning animated series, better known as Sonic Sat AM.
Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive!
Tails' introduction is accompanied by a quick guitar riff reminiscent of the track Azure Blue World for Emerald Coast from Sonic Adventure. I've heard some compare the theme from Sonic's introduction to Live and Learn from Sonic Adventure 2, but I don't think the resemblance is very strong. The music in this scene also sounds a bit like the file select theme from Sonic 3, but it definitely has the opening to Starlight Zone from Sonic 1. Yet another musical reference comes when KO's reaction transitions into a title screen similar to the one from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, complete with a Sega Genesis rendition of In the Hall of the Mountain King, a tune that was remixed in the intro to another cartoon, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. KO is ecstatic to meet Sonic, and we get a glimpse of his POW card, trading cards that show off the stats of heroes. His power level is indicated by a ring instead of a number, similar to the other crossover characters. KO presents Sonic with a few doodles of his past adventures. We see Sonic and Tails blowing up the Death Egg in the climax of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic fighting the Ultimate Life Form, which is the final battle between Sonic and Shadow in Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic winning the Summer and Winter Sports Games, referencing the never-ending spin-off series Mario and Sonic at the London, Sochi, Rio, Tokyo Winter Olympic Games. There's even a character that vaguely looks like Mario sulking and saying, "I lost," to clarify his defeat. As Sonic and Tails interact with KO, we hear the spin dash, ring, and crushing sound effects from the Genesis games. If you're observant, you can see the fangs sticking out of Sonic's top lip, a detail in his character design that's not often seen, but is most notable in Sonic Adventure. So Sonic's at the bodega because he saw a flyer for chili dogs, his favorite food for reasons that have never been explained. The flyer turns out to be a trap that Daryl and Jethro jump out of and kidnap the sleeping Rad and Enid. These two robotic henchmen are akin to Scratch and Grounder from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, right down to Daryl doing Scratch's laugh. During the chase to Boxmore, the Tornado one can be seen in the parking lot, and Sonic uses his homing attack and lightspeed dash that first appeared in Sonic Adventure. The trio is confronted by Boxman, who himself is not only a reference to Sonic's nemesis Dr. Eggman, sharing the same voice actor as his Sat AM incarnation, while Boxman was apparently Eggman's college roommate as well. No wonder he steals Baldy McNosehair's catchphrase later on. Speaking of catchphrases, Sonic channels Gene Ralphio from Parks and Recreation when describing Dr. Eggman, since his actor Ben Schwartz is set to be the voice of Sonic in the upcoming movie.
Yeah, he's the one.
Sonic also says "Gotta Lightspeed need," another quote from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and refers to himself as the most famous hedgehog, the Japanese tagline for Sonic 1. There's even a callback to my favorite Sonic game, Mean Girls.
Why do you want to capture Sonic the Hedgehog anyway? He doesn't even go here.
Boxman traps our heroes in a room with Green Hill-like tiling, a shuttle loop, and even an Act Clear sign from the Genesis-era titles. Tails detects the exit using his Miles Electric, a gadget that first appeared in Sonic Unleashed. Sonic revs up in a fashion similar to his Figure 8 Super Peel Out from Sonic CD, and the chair he uses to relax is the same one seen early on in the 90s OVA. Sonic also freezes in a pose that looks a bit like his artwork from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Tails' flashback that reminisces about how he met Sonic calls back to a similar flashback from Sonic Adventure, as well as the iconography of Emerald Hill Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Tails trailing next to Sonic and occasionally falling behind him is also similar to how the CPU for his character acted in that game. KO runs straight into another trap, a roboticizer powered by the Master Emerald. This device comes from the SatAM cartoon and is used to turn people and animals into robotic slaves. It's a super neat concept that I'd like to see in more animated media that isn't Phineas and Ferb. The roboticizer's power source is a jewel that's guarded by Knuckles the Echidna, which powers his home of Angel Island. Boxman apparently tricked Knuckles into giving him the Master Emerald, an event that's illustrated with crayon drawings like it was in the Sonic Mega Drive comic, Sonic Mania, and the Sonic Mania Adventures animated shorts. KO is transformed into Metal KO, whose design draws inspiration from Metal Sonic, right down to the power core and theme that accompanies him. He's also got an arm cannon similar to Mega Man's Mega Buster, another franchise that Sonic has collaborated with. One story to come out of that crossover involved Sonic's friends getting roboticized, so this reference was more than likely intentional. Metal KO chases Sonic around terrain that reminds me of Chemical Plant Zone from Sonic 2 and the special stages from Knuckles Chaotix. In a few shots, Sonic is even seen with the black eyes of his classic design, which could either be an animation oversight or a sneaky callback. At one point, Sonic and Metal travel at light speed, which visually resembles the Act Clear screen from Sonic Advance 3. This could also be the background to some shots of Sonic X's intro, and the lighting from this moment here reminds me of when Chris Thorndike saves Sonic in that anime's first episode. The way Sonic is animated when charging up his Lightspeed Dash here looks like it was lifted from the intro to Sonic Mania, which the creator of OKKO helped to animate. Metal KO's sacrifice is taken directly from the ending to the Sonic OVA, substituting a pool of water, Sonic's longtime weakness, with a pit of lava. The drowning theme can be heard when Tails saves them both, where Sonic clarifies that Tails will always be his sidekick, and KO is just his little buddy, who he compares to Cream the Rabbit. A random shout out to a character from Sonic Advance 2. The heroes rescue Rad and Enid from a trap that looks a little like the one Dr. Robotnik used in issue 25 of the Archie comics, fittingly an adaptation of Sonic CD, Metal Sonic's first game. After conducting a little more research, I found that this was a more direct reference towards the credits sequence from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. The fact that I made a connection to source material that was more obscure than what was intended tells me that this Sonic obsession of mine might be a bit of a problem, but I'm OVA with that. I'm okay with that. In the aftermath, we can see the Master Emerald hooked up to the tornado in the same fashion as it was in the ending to Sonic the Hedgehog 3. KO also says the phrases "way past cool," Sonic's catchphrase from SatAM and the Archie comics, and "live and learn," which again is the main theme to Sonic Adventure 2. Why do I even have to point this out? The font of this quote here is a little like the logo to the Sega Sonic Popcorn Shop when it was seen in Sonic Mania. This was an obscure early 90s arcade game where Sonic helped you make popcorn that is in fact the coolest thing of all time. Finally, the last leg of the episode is a Sonic Says segment, referencing the ending to almost every Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog episode, where Sonic would teach a random moral about smoking or sexual harassment.
There's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like. But if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable,
That's no good.
Also, palm trees from Green Hill can be seen in the background, and Sonic strikes a very familiar pose. Okay, we're done here! All the references in this episode were very fun to find, but Let's Meet Sonic is still a great episode on its own. Sonic and Tails feel like fleshed out characters with their own past and personalities, and they did these icons a lot of justice. Tails in particular was handled extremely well, because he easily could have been portrayed as being too weak as he has been recently. Making his portrayal even better is the detail that Tails was referred to as Sonic's little buddy way back in some of his first animated appearances, so I love how that title comes full circle in this episode. The visuals were pretty much what you could expect for OKKO, and I won't be one to harp on them. But the Metal KO fight has some of the best animation from the show in a long time. The influence from the Sonic CD cutscenes really makes a difference. Under the pretense that it is still an episode of OKKO, I recommend Let's Meet Sonic. Seeing everyone uncover all of its references together has helped to unify such a divided fanbase. It's also helped me appreciate this loving tribute to everything that Sonic has ever stood for, and makes me quite happy to be a fan of the Blue Hedgehog.